Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market, let's go over Tesla, let's discuss what is happening, what we can expect. And we are in, man, the market is in a very peculiar spot. So there's, a decent amount to go over here, but let's just talk about it. So as usual, if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. If you found it useful, informative, if you find these videos just helpful in whatever way possible, whether it's mentally, whether it's technically, right? Also, again, none of this is financial advice. Make your own decisions, do your own research, blah, blah, blah. So first and foremost, Tesla ending the day up 3.66%, closing at just above $123. Pretty much performing more or less in line with the market, with the QQQ being up about 1.74%, right? So Tesla, more or less, just kind of following the market, give or take, right? Which is not too bad at all. It's not a good thing nor a bad thing, really, right? It's just kind of the usual, at least what it should be. Now, there's a few things to go over. So first, let's talk about Tesla specifically, and then we'll talk about the market because, of course, this matters for Tesla as well. So Tesla, yeah, bit of a weird day, guys, bit of a weird day. So it's a bit of a bull trap today, I'll be completely honest. Now, this doesn't mean that this is over and this is the top and we're just going to fall from here, though I'm not going to lie, the chances of that have absolutely increased after today's performance. Doesn't mean it has to. Again, I want to make it clear. However, if let's say I was about 80% bullish, well, now I'm about only 60, maybe even 50% bullish, at least for now, right? Doesn't mean it still cannot go up to 130 or 140, maybe even 150. I doubt 150, but like, let's say 140-ish, give or take, right? But the main reason is because, well, we did rally all the way up to 126, which is a pretty significant rally, right? That was a good little push there. And it was significantly actually outperforming the market when that rally happened. You can see the market ended at the highs of the day, while Tesla ended, somewhere in the middle, right, of its overall, intraday movement, right? So Tesla was severely outperforming the market at first, and then Tesla actually underperformed the market while in like the second half of the day. But the most important thing is the fact that we did push up above, and it seemed like we were holding. That's the thing that's really suspicious to me. It seemed like we were holding, and I'll explain why. And it honestly just seemed like a massive bull trap, mainly because, again, it seemed like we were holding, but then we actually didn't, and we actually collapsed right back under this damn level that we just are having so many issues. Again, it's kind of 123 to like, kind of that 125-ish level, right? That kind of general range that we're just having clearly a lot of issues pushing and holding. Once again, we ended up failing to hold. We pushed, and it seemed like we were going to hold. And when I say seemed, it means that, the 1 hour, which is a pretty decent, time frame to, make decisions as to whether or not this push will hold or not. We can see a 1 hour candle pretty much right in the morning. Nice push up, and we closed this 1 hour candle at 125, which is good because we haven't closed a 1 hour candle above this kind of 123-ish level at all here. Like, every single time we kept getting rejected, right? So many of them you can see right here. So we finally had one that closed and it seemed good. Then we had a red candle come back down to this 123 level, and it actually was, as it kind of came down to this level, it was actually starting to get pushed back up, and it seemed like it was just going to be a simple retest of the 123 level at first, at least, right? It seemed like that. And that would be a pretty damn good thing to see, right? Get a push up, finally break the resistance we couldn't break, then get a retest, hold it, and then from there it confirms it and we continue rallying. That is what it really did seem like it was going to do, right? It absolutely did. However, it obviously did not, because this candle ended up just crashing right back under this 123 level, closing back under, and then went back down even lower. And then we ended up closing the day pretty much just shy of, or pretty much more or less, we're actually right at that resistance level of, again, about that 123 level. And the thing that makes it the most interesting is the fact that tomorrow morning, I think at 8:30 a.m. is CPI. And we all know how CPI can sometimes be, right? So that's kind of the situation that we're in. It's a very peculiar situation that we are in. And the thing to also note is the fact that on the 1 hour, we are actually starting to form, a little bit of a bearish divergence, as you can see. As we made a higher high over here on the 1 hour with these green candle right here, the one that I just talked about, actually, the RSI, actually made arguably a lower high. Not a very major lower high, so it's not like the most obvious, significant bearish divergence ever, but nonetheless, it did make a lower high, while the stock made a higher high on the 1 hour. So, a little bit of something to consider there, of course, right? And again, with CPI coming in tomorrow, it's kind of a, it's a bit of a coin flip, really. Now, I'll tell you what I personally think will happen and what I expect. And, I did enter a trade on SPY. But all in all, guys, I mean, it pretty much just comes down to the same thing, right? In this case, I guess what you'd want to see is maybe a 2-hour candle closure above this kind of 123 to 125 level, right? You want to start getting candles closing in this range. Maybe let's say 2-hour, right? Clearly the 1 hour was a massive bull bait. I guarantee you a lot of bulls got baited here and most likely bought in right around this level as it was retesting, maybe even on the breakout, honestly, as well. And then most likely got just slapped back down, right? I guarantee people got trapped by that. And I'm pretty confident about it, right? Yeah, so essentially what we want to see is this a break above this 123. Now, something to consider. Now, again, this is a bit more of a bearish take, but, nonetheless, we are here to talk about just what we see in general, right? We're not trying to have biases here. We did push up to the 0.236 Fibonacci level, which again is around that 125 level, which is more or less where we pushed up and got rejected. Now, if we get rejected here and we can't push up higher to, let's say, 140, and this happens to be the short-term top, and we just fall back down to at the very least 100, if not lower, that would really show a lot of weakness on Tesla stock, man. Like, this is not a level you want to get to and then bounce back down. If you're a bull, if you're a bear, absolutely. If you're a bull, not so much, man. This is a very weak level to get to and just get rejected at. Ideally, we want to get, at least in my opinion, to this 140 level, which would be the 0.382. Even that's like not a significant, strength, but it's definitely better than this level down here. And at the moment, we are currently rejecting at this Fibonacci level. Now, personally, I still wouldn't be completely surprised if we do come up to 140. I personally still think that is absolutely within the realm of possibility, though unfortunately, the chances of that happening, let's say maybe there were 70% yesterday, I would say it's more or less about a 50-50 now, to be completely honest with you. It's extremely hard to tell, mainly because tomorrow is also CPI day. That is probably the biggest factor as to why right now the market is in a very peculiar situation. So that's essentially what I'm seeing with Tesla. Again, if you're a bull, you really want to see that 123 level break, let's say on the 2-hour in this case, and you really want to start seeing candles close at or above this level, ideally more than 1, right? And then we can start talking about going even higher, which again, I still think is absolutely possible, though the chances have definitely been lowered. Now, the next thing to talk about is, of course, TSLQ, which is essentially the inverse of Tesla. This chart is still looking pretty bearish, which is another thing that, can make Tesla itself look like it still has a chance to rally, because this chart, in all honesty, still looks a little bit bearish, at least for now, right? That's something else to consider. Now, taking a look at overall market. Now, remember what I said before, guys. If the VIX ever follows the market, that to me is a trap. Right? Not always, of course, not always, but it is definitely one of those check marks that you want to check off on your box of, how many things fit into this category of, that favor a certain outcome in this case, right? In this case, I personally think the market is setting up a massive bull trap, mainly because number one, we are rallying into CPI day, which usually in itself is already a bit suspicious. We are leaving gaps below us, right? And the market is, essentially playing out this little breakout that I had over here. And this seems to be like a pretty good level to break out. And again, I still wouldn't be surprised if the market goes up to about 400, because this would be the overall kind of psychological level. This would be the resistance that we've had several times before over here. And of course, it would be the ultimate resistance on this red line. You can see at the top that we've got rejected once, twice, thrice. And this right here would be the fourth time, arguably the fifth time if you count these as two separate instances right here, which I guess you could, right? So I would be completely shocked if the market goes above 400, which is why personally I have entered a SPY put, just one, mainly because again, I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow the market does rally after CPI comes in, and tomorrow is a green day, sets up the bull trap even juicier, and then I will personally enter more as long as about 400-ish does not break and we can essentially close below it as, a bearish take, if you will, right? That is essentially what I see. But if the market starts closing above 400, that's when I will pretty much cut that position and take the loss. That is what I'm seeing. But, that's kind of my personal thought process at the very moment. That's what I'm thinking, because again, the VIX is essentially rallying with the market into a day like tomorrow being CPI. Very suspicious to me overall, right? So those are the things I'm personally watching out for. On top of that, guys, as if that wasn't enough, we also have the 200-day moving average sitting right above us with, of course, the overall resistance trend line being this red line and 400. Just the amount of resistance in this level up here should be astronomical. Again, for all we know, the market can just completely rally past it, close above 400, and the bear market is over. Fantastic. Everyone survived. That is absolutely a possibility. I just don't think that's going to happen. Personally, I don't think this bear market was anywhere near as scary as it should have, or should be at least. There's just really not enough fear, in my honest opinion, but that's just kind of what I'm thinking right now. So all in all, guys, that's essentially what I'm seeing. Yeah, TLDR or guess or whatever is, you know, again, Tesla and the market itself. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a little bit more of a rally, a bit of a push tomorrow. Maybe CPI comes roughly in line. You know, we get a push, get a bear trap or bull trap. Then people realize, wait a minute, this is still pretty bad. This is still pretty high. And then we essentially get a massive drop in the market, which Tesla might take part of, but we'll see, of course, if that happens or not. But that's essentially what I'm seeing, guys. Let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.